Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, in this video, I'm going to be going over all the books that I've recently bought, either over Black Friday or the weeks before that. There are a total of 12 books that I've bought. Most of them are fantasy books. I have a couple classic books in there, and there are also some, non-fiction books as well. And for the most part, I've bought books that are the first in the series just to see if I like them. There's one that's an old book I've already read, but it was a signed edition, so that's why I wanted to get it. And a majority of these have been bought at Barnes & Noble. One was at Costco, and then the others were in Amazon. So as you can see, here is the stack of books that I bought. And so the very first book that I want to go over is Constructive Anatomy by George Bridgman. I've been wanting to upgrade my drawing skills for a while, and so I've heard that this is a pretty good book to start with. As you can see, there's a lot of descriptive images regarding the anatomy, a lot of guides and how they overlap and connect. And I did start this, but then also I had to watch a couple videos on how to exactly read this because it was confusing at first. So a lot of it is mostly in combination with gesture drawing, and you gotta read the book and then look at the relationship between the figures and the blocks and proportions, and don't exactly copy this, but just try to translate them in your own way. So this is one that I'll be going through and practicing as I go about. Then the next book that I got was Outliers, The Story of Success by Malcolm Gladwell. This was mostly for my wife. She likes this author, and so I saw this and I thought I'd get it for her. I do have another Malcolm Gladwell book which I haven't read yet. This is Blank. And so I hope she enjoys it. Then the next book that I got is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I actually got this book in India when I went in October, and I like the size. It's a very nice short size. I think the US paperback version is a bit taller and wider, but this was also very cheap. This was what, $4 if you convert it into US. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I just started, but I'll let you guys updated on how I'm enjoying this. And so the next book is a repeat buy for me. It is Aragon by Christopher Paolini, and this version is the Barnes & Noble signed exclusive version. And so you can see here, this has Christopher Paolini's rendition of Brahm, and as well as his signature right here. I read this book around when it came out, when I was like a teenager, and I do own all 4 books in the Inheritance Cycle in hardback, but those are back home in Arizona, not with me right now. So I decided since this is a signed exclusive, I'll grab it. The one thing I don't like is that the front cover just cuts off right here. I think it just looks ugly. So I wished it was fully covered, but I think for the signature, it's something I can live with. And then again with Christopher Paolini, I got the deluxe edition of Mortag. I really like this I don't know, it's like fake leather cover with Mortag and Thorn in the back, and in the inside you have the map and you got some nice edge coloring there. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. I might have to read a wiki on what happens in the inherited cycle to get get up to speed, but I'm looking forward to reading this as well. So that's like the only I guess sequel book that I got. Everything else following are like the first in the series. And so the first we have Robert Jordan's The Eye of the World, the Wheel of Time series. Got the hardback because I think just the chunkier books, I think the hardback is better. I'm not carrying this with me, so you have the guy on the horse for the dust jacket, and then take it off. It's very simple, the Wheel of Time symbol, the Eye of the World, and then this does come with the string bookmark, which is nice. And this one I got off Amazon, so not from Barnes and Noble because they just have the paperback versions. Then the next, again, this was from Costco too, I believe, is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. I've seen a lot of booktubers say this is pretty good, and the cover was also pretty interesting. It's the first in the Lacanius trilogy, and the back says, "As destiny calls, a journey begins. It has been 20 years since the godlike augurs were overthrown and killed. Those who once served them, the gifted, were spared only after accepting the rebellion's 4 tenets, which vastly limited their powers. Davian suffers the consequences of a war lost before he was even born. When he discovers that he wields the forbidden power of the augurs, he sets into motion a chain of events that will change everything. To the west, a young man, whose fate is intertwined with Davian's, wakes up in a forest, covered in blood, and with no memory of who he is. And in the far north, an ancient enemy begins to stir." So yeah, looking forward to reading this. It's a nice paperback. I like this paperback paper material. It's very, it has a nice thing to it. So that's what else I got. Then, The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, I think. I'm gonna be honest. I saw the cover, immediately picked it up. I have heard, dude, look how small that guy is compared to the dragon. But yeah, it's cover, so I wanted to pick it up. Also, good reviews from online booktubers. And so, legends tell of the great long ago battle of the gods. When the gods fought, it was a battle so savage they destroyed themselves, leaving nothing but their bones and the broken land of Vigrid in their wake. Now, as whispers of war echo over the fjords and across the plains, fate follows in the footsteps of 3 warriors: a huntress on a perilous quest, a noble woman pursuing battle fame, and a thrall seeking retribution among the mercenaries known as the Bloodsworn. All 3 will change the course of the world as it once more falls under the shadow of the gods. So yeah, very interesting. I want to read it. And the other 2 books, their covers also look so cool, so amazing. So I want to read this. And I just realized that I didn't read from this, but there's nothing here. No, it just says, "A world divided, a queendom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens." A lot of ancient enemies awakening in these books, but yeah. There's that. So the next book I got was from Brandon Sanderson, The Way of Kings, the first book in the Stormlight Archive. And this has bonus full-page illustrations unique to this edition. Fancy. So, I've heard a lot of things about Brandon Sanderson, so this is the first book that I'm reading of his. You know, there's also The Mistborn and some other books of his, but I figured this one looked, I think, more interesting, so I'll read this. And it goes, I long for the days before the last desolation, the age before the heralds abandoned us and the nights radiant turned against us, a time when there was still magic in the world and honor in the hearts of men. The world became ours, and yet we lost it. Victory proved to be the greatest test of all. Or was that victory illusory? Did our enemies come to recognize that the harder they fought, the fiercer our resistance? Fire and hammer will forge steel into a weapon, but if you abandon your sword, it eventually rusts away. There are four whom we watch. The first is a surgeon, forced to forsake healing to fight in the most brutal war of our time. The second is an assassin, a murderer who weeps as he kills. The third is the liar, a young woman who wears a scholar's mantle over the heart of a thief. The last is the prince, a warlord whose eyes have opened to the ancient past as he thirsts for battle wanes. The world can change. Surge binding and shard wielding can return. The magics of ancient days become ours again. These four people are key. One of them will redeem us, and one of them will destroy us. Cool. So yeah, I look forward to reading this, as well as the other. And I do, you know, get like a nice little map, and I don't know what that is yet, but that looks interesting. And if I want to see one of the illustrations, and like here, like you got an illustration right here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I also do like this paper. Maybe I should have gotten Wheel of Time in a paperback now that I'm thinking about it, but oh well. So yeah, that is Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings. And I'm not sure what order I'm going to read them in, with the exception of Aragon and the Constructive Anatomy. Because Aragon I've already read, and Constructive Anatomy is an ongoing thing. I'm not sure. I did start Orange Tree a little bit, so I might continue with that, but I also like flip-flop between books, so you know. Then another book that I got is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I swear there was a movie based off this, and I think that's why I picked it up, but you know, I'll see how it goes. Get, you know, nice paperback. And the synopsis goes, Theo Decker, a 13-year-old New Yorker, miraculously survives an accident that kills his mother. Abandoned by his father, Theo is taken in by a wealthy Park Avenue family. He is bewildered by his strange new home and, tormented by his longing for his mother, clings to the one thing that reminds him of her, a small, mysteriously captivating painting that has come into his possession. As an adult, Theo moves easily between the antique store where he works, the drawing rooms of the rich, and the underworld of art. He is alienated, unmoored, and in love, and drawn inexorably by the power of that painting into a narrowing, dangerous circle. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, you know, this is one of the, it might be the only like fiction book that I have that's like not, you know, fantasy. I think all the other books that I have are, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. But yep, no, I'm looking forward to reading this as well. I mean, all of these, but this might be on my TBR list for a while, as I think I prefer fantasy books in general, so you know, it might take me a while to get to this book. But yeah, The Goldfinch. And then these next two books were buy one get one 50, Barnes & Nobles, and these are, I think, the special editions. And so the first we have The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. And I these style of books I like these, like you have the hardcover with the gold embossing and the gold gilded pages. I think Costco has a lot of these books. I know they had the Arabian Nights. I also have, I think, the Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry, like the Mark Twain collection that they had. And I also have, I think, H.P. Lovecraft collection, which you can see is a nice interior right there. And, this is like nice. I'm not so sure how I feel about this white paper. See how it's white compared to the other books that are more like a newsprint type, but got a little bookmark here. So this might also be a wow for me to read or even start, because it's like 1,065 pages. So yeah, this might be on the back burner for a while. But yeah, Count of Monte Cristo, heard good things about it. I didn't want to read this, but it's a nice sparkly edition. And then last but definitely not the least, I got Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park and the Lost World. This is again another Barnes and Noble's, exclusive deluxe edition or whatever. And I really like, this is a white background with the red foliage, and then the skeleton in black, as well as the author's name and title. Then the spine here, and then the back as well. This has the silver gilded pages, and this has a red bookmark right here, and it's a bit thinner than the Count of Monte Carlo. But then on the back you have a map. Then on the front it's the same map. And then here, and here the pages are the newsprint color, compared to the Count of Monte Carlo, which was the white. And I think I prefer this color better. It's a lot more easier on the eyes. As you can see, the brown newsprint type. And so I do have another version. This is a single Jurassic Park, but it's paperback, and it's also really old and faded. I can tell it's very old. And so this is, I think, a nice upgrade. It has both books in it. Nice hardback. Yeah, that was the last one that I bought from Barnes and Noble. And I think I forgot, again, from Costco, I bought this War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy box set. This has both volume 1 and volume 2. And I wanted to read this. I heard it's good, but again, this is another thick, dense book, so this might also take a while. But just to read the synopsis for volume 1 and 2. For volume 1, in 1805, a series of Napoleonic conquests across Europe is raising fears. The way of life of Russia's elite is about to change beyond recognition. The opulent parties in the sparkling city of St. Petersburg and the seemingly idyllic life in the countryside will give way to young men signing up to the army and families preparing for the turmoil of war. Filled with love, death, and unparalleled drama, this first volume of War and Peace showcases a sweeping tale of finding oneself, whether that be out on the battlefield, at home serving family, or in complete isolation away from it all. And then for volume 2, the sprawling chronicle continues in the second volume of War and Peace, where aristocrats and soldiers fight side by side against Napoleon's invading army. As the enemy grows closer to Moscow, residents must abandon their most treasured possessions and face the conflict they've long feared. Tolstoy's masterpiece is a panoramic account of the human experience, highlighting the tragedies of conflict, the importance of friendship, and the beauty of self-discovery among the chaos. This incredibly poignant and exhilarating drama will entertain and enthrall until the very end. So yeah, again, another dense. I think both of these combined like a thousand something pages. So this will again be another one that's a while till I pick it up. But yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, put this back in the box. And so yeah, those were the books that I got. I'm looking forward to reading them. I think, I probably should be stop buying books, but I think that's a problem everybody who loves reading has. They just keep buying books. But I'm excited to start these books, and I'm excited to see which series I do keep up with. I am running out of space on my bookshelf. But yeah, that was it. That's what I bought. If I were to pick one, I think my favorite, just aesthetic wise, is this one, Murtagh. This black and red with that dragon, how the patterns emerge from it. I really like it. So, but yeah, that was it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.